Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Ready to Rise podcast, where we do all things women's personal development. I think you just heard Kleina. She is in the room with me. I am going to talk today about something actually, I think that this is super important. It's just like real and raw and maybe even a little bit uncomfortable, but it's kind of like the moment where you look into the mirror and you're just like, who am I? I just recorded a podcast with the one and only Anna Percy. You guys know her as the What's Up Cutie, the girl behind the whole movement of just learning to accept yourself as who you are, right? You probably have seen her with her, the videos where she has like her robe on and she's like vacuuming the top of a boat or like trying to like straddle, the deer, those like, what are they called? Like the targets, anyways, the little deer for like archery practice. But anyways, um just her videos are just so funny and so real and so true. And during our conversation, it came up of how people go up to her often and they say like, well, what if I don't even know who I am yet? Kind of like that concept of, I don't necessarily know the direction I'm headed. I know that society wants me to have like 2.2 kids, a white picket fence, and drive a white BMW SUV or whatever it is, right? But I don't know who I am yet and what I want yet. So like, what do I do in the meantime? Like, as I'm filling that gap, and I'm going to piggyback off of that because I am, like I said, like the conversation came up while talking to her, but these are not her words. Like we have our whole podcast episode together coming out next week, but I just wanted to piggyback off of that thought and interject what I know to be true as I am, on my journey and learning about who I am and showing up authentically even before I know what is the most authentic to me, right? Because like when you can't go from 0 to 100 real fast. You literally have to start slow, take those steps. So maybe you are also in your mid 30s, crushing it in this one area of life, right? Like you are just so good. You are baking the brownies for the PTA bake sale from scratch. You are driving your super nice car. You're parking it in your glorious garage that's immaculately cleaned and, in your big, huge house, and you feel great. But deep down, you feel like you still don't know exactly who you really want to be. And if that's you, I want you to just take a freaking breath and just know that that's okay. You're absolutely not alone, but it's okay. And I think this episode is really going to help you get through getting a little bit closer to finding that truest version of you and starting to show up as her. But I want you to first just know that this is all normal. We have been there. Most of us in this, personal development space, we have absolutely been there. Like for me, that's like what started kicking off my whole journey, right? Is I was like, who the heck am I? I have all the accolades. I have, the what is it called? Like the initials, I guess, behind my name. I have this and that. I have this car. I have this house. I have blah, 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 like all of these things. But I was like, who really am I? So I want to first let you know, like, there's just, you've heard this before, there's this unspoken expectation that by the time we hit our 30s, we're supposed to have it all figured out. The career, the house, the relationships. And I think it's even further than that. It's not even like we're supposed to just have it figured out, like what kind of car we're going to drive and who we're going to be and the job and the white picket fence. I think we're taught that we're supposed to be like thriving in those roles. We're supposed to be thriving off of 5 hours of no sleep. So you wake up at 5 a.m. doing the workout, drinking the green juice, then this, then yoga, then blah, 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 bringing the fresh baked brownies that you made from scratch to the big sale. Like the truth is, life doesn't work that way. It's not a straight line, right? It's truly a messy journey. If you think of it like a little road trip, you can picture like the winding road and the pit stops. And sometimes, you have to just stop and just change course, right? Like it takes until our 30s, or even for most people until like their 50s or later, right? To start really asking like, who am I really? And what do I really want? Who do I really want to be? Because up till this point, I have been doing everything that I'm supposed to do, right? Air quotes, supposed to. I'm doing everything that I air quotes like should do. Up until this point, I have done the path that was laid out for me, the 2.2 kids, the white picket fence. Like, I was told by everybody, you're going to make a great nurse, you're going to make a great doctor, whatever it is, right? I've done the career. Like, I have the accolades, but like, I don't know if I feel, I don't know if I feel like myself. I don't know if this is really it for me. But who do I want to be? The thing is that we get so focused on everything else, right? Like everything that the other people are telling us to be, to do, whatever. And we don't take the time to slow down and say, who do I actually want to be? Or maybe we do slow down and think about it, but we don't get the answer right away. So we just decide to put on that mask that society gives us, our parents give us, our friends, whatever. Like, oh, I could see you as, yeah, I could really see you as a nurse with like 3 kids and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then you're just like, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. Let me pick that mask up and let me be that version of myself. But I want to tell you something. If you are starting out in that, or maybe you're, have gone 20 years with that mask on, right? Either way, and now you're realizing that it doesn't feel right, it's not failure. It's a self-awareness that's coming to you, getting you to pause, getting you to reflect, to get kind of curious about your next chapter that's going to be yours alone, right? Before we dive in fully, I just want to give a quick shout out. There are so many of you listening in Germany right now, and this is like a dream come true. I'm obsessed with having a podcast where I can share my thoughts, my feelings, all of this, connect with you from anywhere. That is like my favorite thing. Like I have high energy for these short bursts of time, but I'm not like an overall all the time high energy person. So for me to like literally like think of myself doing this in person, like literally in person, flying to all these different states in the US or to like these different countries abroad or all of that, and impacting in person and having those conversations in person, it is just so much. Like that's like so big, right? And the fact that like doing this virtually gives us that opportunity that we might not otherwise have. Like you may not see me get on a plane and go to your country, right? Because like that is a lot of energy, but I get to impact you and be with you and chat with you at this way in this platform like this virtually. It makes the connections just so much more doable, right? And like just getting to be connected to you is truly a dream come true. Like when I started this podcast, I honestly just prayed, like, I want to connect with as many like minded women as I possibly can from all over the world, from anywhere. So I just want to specifically shout you out because that is just, it's so cool to be connecting to those of you who are so far. So DM me, like, I want to know you, I want to know who you are. And also, excuse me, I also just want to take a quick moment before we fully dive in to let you know that, like, if you're feeling this, if this is, coming up for you where you feel like you're ready to step into that next version of you and you aren't quite understanding like how to do that, I have a couple of spots open for one-on-one mentoring right now, and I would love to be that guide for you. I think that it's so important, when I look back on my own journey and the others that I know in this personal development space, a big portion of the change and of being able to just undergo that whole life transformation comes from the accountability, and most importantly comes from the individualized coaching that you can get, right? For me personally, I had a coach that just changed my entire life, and just being around her, being with her, getting to learn about different personal development tools through her eyes, and just having her in my life, having her literally in my back pocket, like being able to just text her when I needed help was huge for me. So I do have a 3-month individualized program, and you can just DM me on Instagram to learn more about that. But let's get back into this episode because I just, it's so important for me to explain this to you. So back to like that mask, like not just picking up some other mask that we think was meant for us or we think was, supposed to be ours, right? Like literally just picking up some random mask and faking it. I want you to just feel it. And I think that this gets a little bit tricky. So when you don't know exactly who you are yet, right? Which most of us like newsflash, like most of us don't, right? We're not like 100%. It's not like we've had the luxury to just be home and learn who we are, 24/7 for all these 30 years, right? Like, so it's not like we're perfectly in this version of ourselves who just absolutely like inside and out knows who she is. So that being said, when you don't know who you are yet, it's tempting to fake it. 100%. It's so easy to just look at like what Kim K is doing and be like, oh, yep, perfect. I'm just going to act like that, talk like that, dress like that, right? It's so tempting to fake it. Put on the mask of somebody that you think you should be. Maybe you see like the mom on Pinterest that you've been following, or, you see somebody that's on TV, right? Or maybe it's like a boss at work even. And it's tempting to look at that outside reflection of that person, the version of herself that she shows the outside world, and just think like, ooh, yep, that's how I'm going to act, right? For me, like for years, I wore the mask of like, I'm a successful nurse with a perfect life. Like all of that. Like I literally just, had it all together. I used to, oh my gosh, I can't even like tell you all the things that I used to do just to like kind of, I don't know, kind of keep it up. Like, and I don't feel like that's the thing is I don't necessarily feel like I was faking it. So maybe that language doesn't resonate with you because at the time I didn't feel like I was faking it, but I really had no other way to like gauge myself. Like I didn't know myself. I didn't know how to act. So I just kind of like kept achieving, kept kind of making sure that everything always looked so good on the outside, making sure I looked really polished, right? Like thinking that if I just kept doing it, kept doing what I thought I was supposed to do at the time so that I would feel happy, so that I would feel authentic and secure, one day I would wake up and feel secure, fulfilled, happy, all of that. But it never worked. All I did was continue to bury my true self deeper and deeper under the layers, right? The layers of who the world told me to be or who I thought I should be. And what I want you to hear is that you don't have to pretend to be somebody else while you figure it out. This is, I think, the key part of this whole, subject is you might not know who you want to be yet. You might not know yourself well enough to know that you want to like, I don't know, dress this way or have your hair this way or drive X, kind of car or have kids or not have kids. Like you might not know yet, but you're going to be living your life, right? So I want you to really know that you can exist in this in between, that it's absolutely normal and okay to be a work in progress and still be worthy of love, respect, and joy. And like I always say, it doesn't mean that you're broken. Nothing about you is broken. It just means you're exploring and you're learning and you're finding your true self and you're finding what lights you up. Because for so many years, up until now, when you've started questioning it, you just were doing what you were told to do, right? Whether it was like literally being told or subconsciously through, the programming and all of that we get from social media and TV and all of that media in general. So I want to give you some steps because I'm all about tangible tools. I want to give you the steps to start exploring your true self, right? Because if you're sitting there thinking like, okay, Audrey, like that's great info, like, oh, I should, embrace my authentic self and like stop faking it. But like, how do I do this? I don't even know that I'm faking it, right? Like, I don't even think I'm faking it. I'm just kind of doing what I should do, what I'm supposed to do, that kind of thing. So I got you, of course. I want you to first start asking yourself better questions. When we ask better questions, we get better answers, right? Isn't that like that? Like we've heard that before. I think Ed Milet probably coined that, or maybe somebody else, but literally ask yourself the better questions so we get the better answers. Instead of asking yourself, like, who should I be? Start asking, what do I love? What lights me up? What makes me happy? What kind of things am I curious about but haven't explored? What kind of way do I like to style my hair? What feels good when I look in the mirror? What feels good when I wake up and go through my life? Like what helps me to keep propelling myself forward rather than keeping me stuck? Like something as simple as a hairstyle. Maybe you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, I have to do, this kind of hair where I, go crazy and I take 5 hours curling it. And then I have to do this. And then there's all these things. And I have to wake up at 5 a.m. just to do this hairstyle that everybody else thinks I should do just so I can look like this kind of person. And it's not even fulfilling you. Then like, let's change that, right? Like experiment things. And also I think a key note is to start experimenting, but without attachment. Like, we aren't just going to look and say, oh, I hate doing that 5 hour curly hairstyle. So now I'm going to like just straighten my hair every morning. And that's how it's going to always be. Like, maybe not. Maybe that's not going to be the route for you, but we can try it, but we don't have to commit. We don't have to attach ourselves, right? Maybe it's taking a new class, joining a new group. Maybe it's even just dressing a little differently, going somewhere and just trying on a pair of sweatpants when you've never worn them before, right? You know me, I love to just give very simple analogies, but like, just try something new and try it because it's not what everybody else does. It doesn't have to be like a 5-year plan and this and this, and it's so stiff and so hard. It's like, just do what feels real for you, what feels good for you, right? And I think you'll know that you're on the right track when things start to feel like home. It could be a hobby, it could be new friendships, it could be just a way that you show up. Maybe it's a different way of you showing up in your relationships. Maybe you just approach conversations differently, or the clothes that you're wearing or the hair you do. Like it can be anything from something as simple as your hairstyle all the way up to like where you live, what state, what city, what country, to the car that you drive, like any of that. Like your entire life is yours. Like literally it's such a cool feeling to know that like this life is yours to live. So I think it's incredibly important to follow that feeling, follow your inner self, like listen in to what that self is saying when you try new things and when you're just doing your regular daily activities, right? There's a tool that I use with all of my one-on-one clients as I onboard them, and I do this authenticity inventory because I want to get a pulse on where this person is individually in her life and what she's doing, and it's in obviously such a safe space for us to do this tool. So we're able to kind of do this little workshop together because it's a safe space for you to question yourself and question your daily activities where no one's going to see this paper or this thought process later, so you can just be open and honest. And what we do is we write down everything that you do throughout your day, from brushing your teeth to calling your mom to getting in your car, all of it. And we look at what feels authentic, what feels aligned, what actually feels good. Or are there things where you're just kind of like going through the motions? You're not even thinking about it. Like, I don't know. It could be something so simple as getting in the car because everybody else does like a car line drop off, but the school's only 2 blocks away. So maybe you don't feel authentic when you're doing that. Like, this is just a silly example, but like, I just want to open your eyes up in like the easiest way, because it's hard for us to see things like so huge and so big when we're not there yet. But like, maybe it is that, like, and maybe it feels more authentic to you to like just go on a walk and like walk the kids, and it's like a little bit more time one-on-one with them and seeing the world through their eyes, and maybe it takes a little bit longer and it just feels a little bit better, right? And we're connected. Like, it could be anything, but looking at what we're doing every single day and what feels authentic to us or not. And then, of course, during the one-on-one coaching, we work on, not the only thing we do, of course, but that gives us a good guide of, what we're living, how authentic we're being, and what we kind of want to work through. And a lot of the activities that we do daily in our life is like for people pleasing. It's for, the shoulds, right? Like what I should be doing, how I should be acting, or literally just us. It's easier for us to go out of our way to just do something that's going to make somebody else happy so that they get off our back and we can just leave them alone, right? Or they leave us alone. But life is not that way, right? Like, this is our life to be living for ourselves and making us happy. So I want you to also, like, kind of the second piece of advice I want to come in here with is stop comparing your path to someone else's. Your journey is your journey. It's not supposed to look like hers or hers or hers, right? It's supposed to be yours. And I want to reflect on that just for a minute. Like, if your journey looks like everybody else's, are you going to actually be happy? Are you really going to be happy? If you have the same exact Tesla truck as Kim K, I'm not picking on her. I actually really like Kim K. But like, if you have the same like Tesla truck as her, and then the same outfit as her, and the same hairstyle as her, and you shop at the same stores as her, like, are you actually going to be happy? Because like, our life is going to be happy when we're living for us and when we feel fulfilled because we're doing the things that light us up and make us happy. So here's the thing about not knowing who you are yet. It's really a gift. I think it's really a beautiful time in your life because you don't have it all figured out yet, right? You don't have it. You don't know who you are yet. You don't know exactly what you like or what you want. And maybe you've gone down this path for 50 years now and you are, locked into a home and a car and a white picket fence and blah, blah, blah. That's okay. It's totally fine. It's okay to just take that pause and just fully admit, like, I don't have it all figured out yet. I don't think I'm living a life where every action feels authentic and feels happy and feels cool and good, right? And honestly, as a human, we may never get to that kind of perfect thing because that is like kind of like perfectionism on the other end. But coming back to the point here, when you don't have it all figured out yet, you are free to explore, to experiment, to try on new things without the pressure. There's no pressure of perfectionism, right? That comes with a comparison. That comes with us doing the exploring and the trying on new things because we want to be like somebody else and it not feeling good. That's what drives that, like that feeling of the comparison and the perfectionism. But coming back to you starting your own journey for you, that freedom, that feels really good. And it works when you embrace it. Embrace that freedom, embrace that thought process. Know that it's perfectly fine for you to not know exactly who you are, right? If you stop trying to fit the mold that society has handed to you and start trusting that you're enough right now, just as you are, that's how life will change. That's what's going to set you apart. That's what's going to change everything for you. So just take that first step of questioning yourself. Does this light me up? Does this feel good? Right? Actually ask yourself those questions. Am I driving this car just because, this person is driving it and I compare myself to them? Am I wearing this outfit just because I've deemed that this is perfectionism? This is, what's going to look perfect and how I'll be accepted by society. And this is what, I think I'm supposed to be doing. Or does this light me up? Does this make me feel aligned with myself? Does this make me feel like I am being authentic? Ask yourself those questions. And the comparison is a whole other thing, but just, I don't think we can be, some people do get completely off social media and that kind of thing. And like, props to you. One of my clients is doing that right now. She felt like she absolutely needed to just take an off from social media, and that's okay. All for it. But I think for some of us, that's hard to do. And it's okay not to. You don't have to go that extreme, but just start seeing like where you're feeling triggered in the comparison game. And if you're looking at everyone's highlight reels on social, maybe it's time to take a step back. Or if you're watching a bunch of reality TV and you notice yourself, I notice myself when I start to get really upset about like my home and start trying to like throw things away and like order things that look a little bit like trendier or whatever. I always notice for me, that's what I've been watching too much of the reality realtor TV shows, which I won't name because I don't think I'm allowed to, but I actually love those shows too. But I have to like remind myself, like they're looking at, like they're selling like these 5, 8, 10, $40 million homes. And I'm like, it's okay that you don't have like this crazy like waterfall island, and it's okay that you don't have like a $4,000 vase to like hold your flowers. Like it's okay. And I literally have to like go through my shopping cart on Amazon or wherever and like delete everything because I'm just like trying to order all these like fancy things and just like, no, like that's not, that it doesn't even feel good to you. So why are you even like doing that? But it all stems from the comparison is my point. So I want you to just like trust that you're enough right now as you are and start to step back a little bit from the comparison, from the mold, from the mask, and just ask yourself what lights you up and do that. Follow that. I want to leave you with this kind of last thought. So, not knowing who you are or who you want to be, it doesn't mean that you're lost. It just means that you're right there on the edge of discovery, right? So, give yourself permission to not know. Give yourself the permission to get ready to explore and to, be filled with wonder and excitement, but promise yourself that you won't fake it, you won't pick up a mask that's not yours, and that you won't settle. Instead, you'll keep exploring, you'll keep asking questions, and you'll keep peeling back the layers until the true you shines through. Because my friend, let me tell you, sister, like she is in there, right? She's waiting for you, the real version of you, the true version of you. She is right there, just waiting to be discovered. Okay, my friend, that is it for this episode of the Ready to Rise podcast. You know, you can find me here every Thursday and most Sundays for new episodes. And if you want more, just check out Instagram. I have everything on there. We are kicking off the Rise Above program this coming Tuesday. So just in a couple of days. And that is a program all about overcoming the limiting beliefs, the stories that we keep telling ourselves about who we're supposed to be, who we have to be, how we have to act. So overcoming all of that, as well as our people-pleasing tendencies, right? Like, and I know we have them and it's okay. It's so natural. It's a product of our current reality and, our experience in this world. But it doesn't mean that we have to stay like that forever. And it doesn't mean that that's how we have to live our life forever. So truly, I cannot wait to help all the women in this program to kind of like overrule some of those societal expectations that we carry and those limiting beliefs, all of that, and just kind of get into that next version of us. It's the best feeling. Like, it really does feel so good. We also have the retreat coming up in April, and there are only 2 spots left. So if you are one of the lucky women who are ready to snag your spot for the April retreat, it's April 11th through 13th, and it's in Bodega Bay, California, which is the town where they filmed The Birds, if you've seen that old movie. But it's just such a cute little, coastal town. We're going to be oceanfront and doing just a ton of really deep healing, chakra work, all kinds of really deep, like energy work. There's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be freaking amazing. And I also just want to let you know that, there's only 2 spots left. So if you want to snag yours, grab it now. Otherwise, there's the November retreat, which is also starting to fill up, but 2025, it's going to be November 1st through 3rd of 2025. And it's already starting to fill up too. So if you want to grab any of those, you've got to DM me as soon as possible. Just add Hello Audrey Rose on Instagram. But I love you so much and I am so proud of you, and I will see you next week.